Work here anymore. You can have all the time you want.
Happy Tuesday, everybody.
And we're happy here.
It's Tuesday, right, Edward?
It's happy. Happy Tuesday.
Very happy. We're very happy to be here today.
Happy.
Why are we so happy? Because some of our investment picks are working out.
Yeah.
Which actually all of them are working out. Almost all of them. Gold is up. The S&P is down.
It's down about 14 points.
Oil's
a little flat today.
Who cares?
But silver and gold,
Cannabis stocks?
You
know, it's just the last weeks of August. You think this week's quiet, wait till you see next week.
Yeah.
Next week's going to be like a tomb. It'll be like a tomb. You won't be able to see any volume in the market, silly. It'll be a tomb. So quiet as a tomb. Anyways, so news today. Evenco announced their financial statements. And, well, not very impressive.
Now, Evenco, not that I'm bringing out the gender thing, but it is run by women, this company, correct?
You said you're not bringing out the gender thing, and then you say this is run by women.
No, but I'm just saying why they didn't call it Adam & Co. They didn't call it Adam & Co.
Earnings aren't impressive because it's run by women.
No, maybe they'd have been a lot.
It sounded like
it would have been a lot worse if it would have been run by men, probably.
Good save. Good save.
Always thinking.
I have no idea. What is coming up on the show? Actually, here's what's coming up on the show today. We have Fraser is going to be our news nurse of the day. Ed and James are going to commit a little bit of chart analysis. Mark Latimer is going to be here to talk about process automation. Didn't we do that yesterday?
Yeah.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't have that.
I think he's interviewing you.
No, that's what we didn't air yesterday, is him interviewing me. And then Chad Counter is going to talk to us about Halo Labs. And that's basically it. So that's going to be the show. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The cannabis market is quiet. Why? Because it's summer. Yes, there are more sellers than buyers. That's why stocks go down. That's the only reason stocks go down.
Yeah.
People say, why is your stock down? It's like, well,
that's why when you asked me, why did this stock go down? Now I'm going to say, because there's more sellers than buyers. So
that's what you're going to say from now on?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, because the insiders are selling.
Yeah.
No, that's the wrong thing. Don't say that. But you'll see that the market is going to start to solidify right after Labor Day and come back the other way is my prediction. Did you hear that a study in the United States suggests that China could overwhelm the U.S. in a first strike?
What?
Yeah. Better get your dim sum making skills honed up there, Edward. You might be working for somebody from the Eastern Hemisphere soon. That would really suck for me because I make no bones about thinking that the Chinese are a bunch of criminals and, basically stealing people's human rights and sending them off to camps in distant places after confiscating all of their assets and consigning people to oblivion. And that's criminal, and that's what the Chinese government does. Do we do that in Canada? Do we just make people disappear?
Not yet.
Not yet. I might be the first one.
No.
Boy, that guy's got a big mouth. Let's make him disappear.
Yeah.
Let's try that out. See if anybody complains. Do you think anybody would complain?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep, I would.
Oh, well, thank you, Edward. Who's going to sign those damn checks now that he's gone?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's take a look at our cannabis indices because that's just what we do as cannabis guys. And yesterday they were down rather.
Yeah, marginally, I thought.
Yeah.
Friday they were up nicely.
You know what? I think I need my NDI up. There it is. And oops, what happened there? Back to this. Oh, NDI is up.
By the way, CanTrust is inching lower.
Yeah, so look at this, though. It's one of those days of divergence. So large cap up 0.5 point. Quadruple 747. Gong, 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 gong.
5 sevens and a 4.
5 sevens. Boy, there's a 5 sevens there. That's that's a winning hand. Small cap index down 2%. Venture index down 0.33%. CSE index down 2%. Why is the larger cap index up? Let's go to the index page and see if we can figure that out with our little pea brains. Well, who's up? Looks like Aurora's up 15 cents, which actually constitutes 2%. That's interesting. Organogram is up 1.79% to 682, and Canopy Growth is up. So really, really small up on some of the big names, and all of the small names remain sort of mired in summer misery. But so you want to know who are the big trading companies these days? Do you have any idea?
Well, they're not.
They're not in Canada.
No. Well, what about some of the mining companies?
Well, actually, there's. If you want to talk about a mining company that's up, and by way of disclosure, I have been buying this stock and will sell it without any further notice, unless I decide to buy more. How's that for cryptic?
There you go. There's a straight answer.
Yeah. Anyways,
which one's that?
It's called African Gold Group. AGG is the symbol.
It wouldn't be up today, would it?
Yeah, it's up huge.
Should have been talking about it yesterday.
Yeah. Well, yesterday I was buying it.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell people about it the day I'm buying it.
You're not?
Jesus. That's not the way this newsletter game works. Come on. No.
You know it's hit a new low today in the marijuana space?
No.
You remember a thing called G-Tech?
Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember G-Tech.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, we used to know the guy.
We used to know him.
Huh. What happened with them?
Well, 32 cents.
32 cents. That is a new low.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of the market movers here. If you look at my little screen, I've got the TSX Venture up. You'll notice that in the top 10 companies now on the TSX Venture, none are cannabis deals. If you look at the top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are mining deals. Now, is this indicative of a resurgence in junior mining? Well, if it's not indicative, it's certainly symptomatic.
Yeah, again, we just to say what it means for gold to go up as much as it has to a little company like Galani.
Yeah.
It's like extra $5 million bucks in money. So let's say they need to raise $1 million. They don't have to raise $1 million. They've got 5 coming in.
Yeah.
They got 4 extra.
Yeah.
They can go.
They're making money.
They can take the money, plow it back in their production, and then promote it.
They're gold miners. Ooh. See, this is the thing. People often fail to differentiate between a gold miner and a gold explorer. And a gold miner is a lot less risky to invest in than a gold explorer, because a gold explorer is all speculative value, and they're betting on the fact that they're going to drill some holes, and one of those holes is going to intersect gold, and there might be a future mine there if they keep drilling and hitting these little holes. A gold miner has already found the gold. The gold is there, they're already mining it.
Yeah.
So when a company like Galani, and this is fully biased opinion here because I own the stock, they are a client, and so I'm absolutely not to be trusted. Anything I say, just don't believe it. That being said, a company like Galani has already found the gold. They produced 30,000 ounces this year, or in 2018.
Yeah, so, I can't remember the exact number, but
they're adding another 20,000 ounces of production in 2019, and they're ultimately going to be at 90,000 ounces.
What did you say their cost of break even is, about 900?
Well, it was last year it was 1,100, but with the new mine, it's going to go down to 900 and something.
Well, the average in the world is around 1,100.
That's so expensive.
Well, it is expensive. The point is, everything's getting more and more expensive to do, and yet the commodities haven't reflected that yet.
Well, you know why? Because
I was going to
the
ask you.
excessive currencies in the planet
I know.
chase other assets, which means it doesn't go into gold. The reason is you create so much currency, gold's too small a market. If 10% of the global investment going into, say, bonds went into gold, gold would be $10,000 an ounce tomorrow. And is that, though, in the absent the logic of proportionality, is that a good argument not to buy something because that market's too small and I won't make enough?
No.
If something's undervalued, exactly. So gold has many characteristics where other players in the investment universe are doing their best to categorize gold as a unvaluable asset class. Yet, every currency in the world is measured by how much gold it can buy. And that's the only solid measure.
An ounce of gold always buys a gentleman a fine, tailored suit. Actually, a bespoke suit.
Ounce of gold buys...
Always.
Let's see, it's 1,500 and change now.
U.S.
Yeah, this will get you a okay suit.
Maybe just get the pants.
It'll get you a
this
suit.
time. Just get you the pants.
Well, I think that you can buy $1,500 pair of pants. Where do you shop?
Here's an ounce of silver for the pants and an ounce of gold for the jacket. How's that? No, but look, an ounce of gold gets you. Look, it's 1,500. It's not 200 anymore.
Boy. Okay, let's look at some more volume actives, shall we? If we look at the TSX senior board here, you'll notice that the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top 5 companies are not cannabis companies. The 6th most active trader by volume is Aurora Cannabis. But after that, the next one doesn't happen till Fire, which is number 12. So my point being, what's my point? Is that at least in the Canadian commodities space, there's a lot more interest coming to commodities than there is into cannabis in the last few days. And so you might want to be thinking about, liquidating some of your cannabis winnings if you have any, and considering some commodity type public companies.
Did I mention yesterday that the president of Codelco, the biggest copper producer, said 3 of their mines need 280 to 290 copper? Same kind of thing, right?
280 to 290 copper?
Yeah.
What for?
For those mines to be profitable.
Oh, to be profitable.
Yeah.
Oh, well, profitable.
Yeah,
people in stock markets don't care about profitability of the companies they invest in so much as they do about the profitability of their trades. And counterintuitive as that may sound, and I know how much large long-term investors hate to hear that kind of logic, but I guess I'm referring more to traders.
So gold's up 0.37% today on the futures market, and silver's up 5 times that.
What's gold at?
0.37. It's at 15.17 on the first contract month, and silver 17.13. All odd numbers: 15, 17, 17, 13.
Wow. Let's let Fraser tell us about the news of the day, shall we?
Here's your Weedstock news for today. Evenco announced its interim financial results for the 3- and 6-month periods ended June 30th, 2019. Q2 net revenue was $0.5 million. Gross margin was $180,000, which is 38.5% of total revenue. Net income was $400,000. Cash and cash equivalents at the end of the Q2 period were $14.9 million. Chiron Life Sciences announced that its shares have received Depository Trust Company full service eligibility in the United States. DTC eligibility is expected to simplify the process of trading and transferring of the company's common shares in the United States. DTC eligibility permits shares of Chiron to be distributed, settled, and serviced through DTC's automated processes, leveraging the efficiencies created through the electronic clearing and settlement of securities. DTC services provide cost benefits for investors and brokers trading Canadian securities in the United States. Organigram Holdings has received its final approval for the listing of its common shares on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Organigram's common shares will commence trading on the TSX at the opening at Thursday, August 22nd of this year, continuing to trade under the symbol OGI. Organigram's common shares will be delisted from the TSX Venture Exchange at the commencement of trading on the TSX. Canopy Growth has received its license from Health Canada for its Key Leaf Life Sciences facility in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Canopy Growth now operates 3 significant extraction assets to support the throughput required for large-scale value-add product development. Canopy Growth recently retrofitted the now fully licensed Key Leaf facility, which it expects to be online in the fall of 2019 and has the capacity to extract up to 5,000 kilograms of hemp or cannabis biomass per day. Ianthus Capital has entered into a term sheet and is actively negotiating definitive documents for a senior secured term loan of up to $50 million US from one or more investment funds managed by Torian Capital Partners. The term loan is expected to be made available in 2 tranches of $25 million US. The net proceeds of the term loan will be used to support Ianthus's near-term growth efforts, which are expected to include the ongoing expansion of Ianthus's Florida footprint and the build-out of new B retail locations in Nevada, New Jersey, and New York. MediPharm Labs has appointed patient care and medical cannabis researcher Dr. Carolina Landolt Marta-Carena. She's an MD and PhD in structural biochemistry. She's been added to the Science Advisory Committee. Dr. Landolt Marta-Carena also serves on the Cannabis Medical Advisory Board of Shoppers Drug Mart. Forefront Ventures has begun trading today on the OTC Market Group's OTCQX Best Market under the new ticker symbol FFNTF. TrueTrace Technologies has signed a letter of intent to establish a strategic working relationship with Anandia Labs. The 2 companies intend to collaborate on an integrated testing solution in relation to TrueTrace development of a blockchain-secured traceability ecosystem for the cannabis industry. Anandia will serve as primary analytical and genetic testing partner in the TrueTrace ecosystem. Medcalcana Organics has signed a licensing and processing services agreement with Herbolia Biotech. Herbola Biotech is an Italian-based biotech company that has developed bioherbolysis, a patent-pending process for the extraction and preservation of cannabis from newly harvested or dried material. With the closing of these 2 agreements, Medcalcana will have the license and rights to use bioherbolysis for their extraction requirements, as well as offer processing services to third parties in Colombia, delivering full-spectrum oil, distillates, and crystals. And that's your news for today, folks. And for more, go to MidasLetter.com and click on the Cannabis Daily.
Godfather. Anyways, as we speak, Fraser's in the midst of receiving a fraudulent call from Canada Revenue Agency. At least we hope it's fraudulent. They're threatening him with immediate arrest if he doesn't settle his bill and give them his credit card number. And stick around. If we can get somebody on the phone, we're actually going to try to talk to them and see where we can send some money to get Fraser out of the sights of this fake CRA.
Those are all robocalls, eh? It's amazing. They say, you know, we've just determined that some money was taken out of your credit card. And I say, which one? They say, the guy goes, TD? No. Royal? Yeah. Well, which one is it then? He's asking me because he can't tell me which one. It's all bullshit. They're just such, they're fishers.
How do you, so you haven't been taken?
No.
You haven't been taken for a scan?
What is that?
I was wondering where it was.
Have you heard?
Yeah. Hey, they want you to put your microphone on your shirt, and put the earpiece in your ear.
Jesus.
Anyways, so Canopy announced this new extraction facility.
Yeah.
And it adds to the 2 other extraction facilities they have. So they got 3 extraction facilities. Now, wasn't Balance Grow extracting all their cannabis for Canopy? And what does this mean for Balance Grow?
Well, they're not doing it anymore?
Well, I don't know. This is the thing. If Canopy's running around trying to get all of these extraction licenses, are they trying to sideline their extraction partners, or is it just that there's such a demand for extracted products in the future over, dried cannabis that they just need the extra capacity? Which is it? I don't know. I guess we should ask Mark Zakulan. We've been threatening to get him on the show. We were going to go up to Ottawa and visit them at Smiths Falls, but that's a full day trip for us, so I'm not sure that's going to happen this week. We might get up there. We should do a episode from Smiths Falls. Oh, yeah, I just had a great idea. I'll talk to them about that after the show. But so, Edward, have you been following the cannabis space at all? Do you know anything about what's going on?
Well, I understand, cannabis is now legal in Canada. So there's...
Boy, he is a swift one.
No, you know what? Look at we've had it. We've had the
I gotta
bubble.
go buy some stock. Cannabis is legal in Canada?
No, it's been...
Oh, that's right. I sell the stock when it gets legal in Canada.
You know what? And we said it once. We said it 100 times. The day it got legal, it's much like a mine going into production. That's when the problems started. We've had lots of problems since.
What problems?
Ask CanTrust what the problems are. Hey, how would you like to be those top executives?
Those would be problems of their own authorship. Like,
yeah, well.
You know what? CanTrust is, it's
CanTrust.
So sad. CanTrust, yeah, the whole industry is kind of just holding their heads and noses and going like, can this please end so that we can start to repair the reputation to our industry? Like, really, if... like, why don't they just cancel their licenses and shut them down? Cease trade it. Like,
well, they probably brought some special investigators in, and they've got to justify their pay.
Boy, I can't imagine that there's anybody holding that stock for a long strategy.
There has to be. Who's got the shares? The shares just aren't sitting out there, no ownership.
Well, I would imagine the shares that are not being sold are the shares that are held by insiders that can't be sold in the current environment, given the management cease trade order.
I know, but like right now, if you wanted to, like, let's say you want to sell some stock, you got to sell it to somebody. You can't sell it to nobody. You can't sell it to your dog.
So let's see what this action looks like on TRST. Let's pull up a chart here. Whoops.
Looks like shit.
Well, looks like shit?
Well, it's looking like.
Okay, I'm going to go market depth, time and sales here. Let's go TRST. What happens here?
Yeah.
Well, it's 260 to 261, last at 260, or sorry, last at 260 and a half.
It's looking like it's getting close to the low there of 258.
It's traded just over 500,000 shares. Bid pretty strongly. Like, it's bid pretty strongly. There's, 15,400 at 260, 58,200 at 259. Like, it's kind of intriguing. I'm perplexed.
Offer 10 million shares at 260. See what happens. Maybe those bids might disappear.
Yeah, that's quite possible. But
there's a possibility. I mean, look.
On the sell side, depth is 2.3 million. The buy side depth is 1.5. Yeah.
Village Farms was a good one last week, wasn't it? It was near its highs. Yeah.
Village Farms is a good one most days. That's an investment worthy company if I ever saw one.
Yeah. Well, it's only off $3 from the high, which is, this thing has come from a year ago $12. It hit 18, 19. It's now 16, 17. Yeah. Well, look, there's been blood. There's been blood in the sector, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Like, people are hurt.
Some have been gutted.
Yeah, and
some have been positively eviscerated.
Someone mentioned today that what was the one the extraction one? Not
Metafarm.
No. Jump. No.
Jump.
No. Anthony Durkach's
Pump.
I said jump.
I think he meant dump.
So what's Pump doing?
What's Pump doing? Oh gosh, dare we look? I licked my wounds and got the hell out of that one. Let's see. Yeah. Pumpo. I just typed in 12 and a half. It's it's holding in at the last financing price. So not to be completely counted
out
yet.
That's better than some, right?
No.
Like this flour thing kills me. They did a bot deal at 410, and now the stock's having a hard time holding 310. 310.
No kidding, eh?
What's a guy to do?
What's the price of copper today, Ed?
258.
258.
Just sitting there. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
I don't think anybody's going to care until China gets something going on with the States. Maybe not.
Mark Mobius. Do you know who Mark Mobius is?
Yes.
So Mark Mobius says that he says Gold's long-term prospect is up, up, and up.
He does, eh?
It says buy gold at any price.
Mark Mobius said that.
Yeah.
He used to be the guy at Templeton, right?
Yeah.
Like he was sort of John Templeton's right right-hand
He was
man,
30
left-hand
years
man.
at Franklin Templeton.
Yeah. No. Remember Mark Mobius talking about going into Asia 30 years ago.
Yeah. So this is the thing. All of these sort of iconic investors are starting to say buy gold, buy gold, buy gold.
It's true.
And here's the other interesting thing is none of the usual naysayers, like John Reed from UBS, he's not saying short gold. Curry from Goldman Sachs.
Drunkenmuller.
He's not saying anything. Drunkenmuller? I think it's Druckenmuller, not Drunkenmuller. His name's Stanley Drunkenmuller.
We knew the guy, his name was Duncan, but he was no stranger to the drink, so we used to call him Drunken.
Drunken.
Anyway.
Okay. Are you sure that's not the same one we did yesterday?
Same joke?
Okay. Hey, a guy came by yesterday and interviewed me. See what you think of this.
Hi, my name is Mark Latimer. I'm a co-host here at the Midas Letter, and I'm here with the CEO of Midas Letter Live, James. How are you?
Thanks, Mark. I'm good.
Great. So it's been an interesting year in cannabis. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm excited about the cannabis space. I'm excited because so many sort of chicken littles are running around thinking the sky is fallen, that the end is nigh, that the upside is over. But really, it's still, I think it's beyond the first inning in the cannabis space, but it's certainly early in the second inning of the whole game, and there's tons of upside yet to be realized by investors who pick up a glove and get in the game.
Great. I watched your show recently, and you were talking a lot about the global opportunities. Who do you think's poised to take advantage of new regulations and some of the emerging opportunities overseas?
Well, the best positioned to exploit the overseas cannabis opportunities at this point are, in fact, the incumbent large licensed producers, Canopy Growth, Aurora Cannabis, to a lesser extent, Tilray, to a lesser extent, Organogram, but all the companies that started in 2013, 14, 15, 16, these are all the ones who have, they've fleshed out and backfilled their Canadian production and development environment and are now, in the case of Aurora and Canopy especially, have advanced partnerships in multiple jurisdictions. I think Aurora's in 33 countries now. And so they're the ones who are most positioned to take advantage of it presently, I think.
Okay. And who do you like in medical?
Well, medical is interesting because in terms of who are the great medical players at this point, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer. I mean, these are companies whose names you're not really seeing out there in the public eye, but in the medical space, it's going to be a pharmaceutical game.
Yeah.
And so at this point, companies like Aurora and Canopy have medical programs as part of their DNA. In fact, one could argue that at least 50% of the DNA of both those companies is focused on the medical opportunities worldwide. But when it comes to the pharmaceuticalization of the cannabis industry, that is going to be done by pharmaceutical companies first and foremost. Now, I don't think that means that pharmaceutical companies are going to come down the value chain and start growing cannabis. I think that the early stage programs that are going to be founded by companies and sponsored by and funded by companies like Aurora and Cannabis are going to yield products that pharmaceutical will acquire. And at some point, as we've seen with some of the strategic investments by some of the larger pharmaceutical companies that are making strategic investments into Canopy, Aurora, and that ilk, they're sort of positioning themselves in the companies to get a bird's eye view of what's being produced there. So, but I think that the later stages of the cannabis industry in medical are going to be dominated by the names that now dominate the pharmaceutical industry. So who do I like in medical? I like Canopy and Aurora, and I like all the pharmaceutical companies. That being said, I just want to caveat that with, pharmaceutical companies are notorious for acquiring medical products and then exploiting them for maximum financial value because they're shareholder driven. Cannabis companies are shareholder driven as well, but they also have a higher degree of the compassionate gene in their corporate DNA. And in fact, that's part of being exposed to the cannabis plant is it inculcates that sentiment in the human being. So I'm also a little bit nervous about pharmaceutical getting a hold of the cannabis industry because I shudder to think what that will mean for the price of CBD extracted medicines in the future.
Fair enough. Do you think that we're going to see any change with marketing regulations? Because it's a big challenge right now.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, Canada's approach towards no marketing, no promotion of cannabis is really, in the grand scheme of things, quite primitive. And the idea that government does that to protect young people from getting this idea that they want to try cannabis is admirable, but it's hallucinogenic. In that, I mean, young people get the idea that they want to smoke weed because they see their parents doing it, they see their parents' friends doing it, they see people on the street doing it. I mean, the idea of...
Or they smell it, just,
Well, exactly. Or they smell it. And the recreational substances are, it's like when you're automatically programmed to find a mate. And those same impulses drive us towards the idea of psychological exploration through different substances.
I think the marketing side, too, you're finding that it's because you can't market it, it's still the cool thing to do, right? Because they're saying, hey, we can't. But I think there's a lot of capital being held up that could be used for marketing that is making it more difficult for some of the bigger players to establish their brand, at least in the consumer market. Maybe not as important in the medical.
Right.
But
well, it's making it harder for the legal cannabis industry to differentiate itself from the unlicensed cannabis industry.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say illegal because I don't agree with that, but
unlicensed is a good word.
Yeah, the unlicensed cannabis industry is able to operate on the same plane as the licensed cannabis producers, except for the fact that they're not in stores with the limits on packaging and branding. So it's like you're handing them an advantage, and if your overarching objective is to legitimize the entire industry, you certainly can't put limitations on branding, packaging, marketing, and promotion and expect to succeed in that. And I think it's just a matter of time till the government agencies tasked with that oversight recognize that. And all you need to do is look at California, where the recreational illegal market has been robust for decades, and now there's an emerging legitimate market or licensed market that can't compete because they are, they're not able to differentiate themselves in the case of California from the black market because they can't get banking. So, I mean, my point is that California is succeeding with the consumer because they can use innovative packaging and marketing. Their challenge is they can't get banking, which gives their black market the ability to succeed alongside because they all operate with giant bags of cash being transported under heavy guard. So that's my point, is that governments trying to interfere in markets with these regulations that are short-sighted and not realistic ultimately are contributing to the failure of those markets to succeed on a licensed, legitimized basis.
Very interesting. As far as we live in a pretty cold climate half the year, do you think that there's going to be any regulations for smoking marijuana inside? And how would that play out? Because we're looking at old regulations from people who don't want to be around smoke, but a lot of people, let's say you went to a restaurant and were able to smoke inside. Sure.
Well, there are some clubs.
I know there's a few, but it's not...
No, there's some clubs where people are permitted to smoke indoors. And I've been to a couple of them, and it's kind of like they don't sell alcohol. They might
Right.
sell pop and chips, but it's like it reminds me of going to a party in junior high school where that's overseen by parents. It's like, okay, this is fun, but when does the real party start? As far as the ability to consume cannabis in public, I think it's going to go very much the way of the beer garden, where, you know, at certain events under special licenses, there will be permission to consume cannabis via whatever methodology in the presence of live entertainment, sports
Okay.
events, social gatherings. I think they're going to be specially permitted. Do I think there's going to be blanket permission to socially consume cannabis? I think possibly, maybe not in my lifetime.
Like a hookah bar.
Like a hookah bar. Well,
No?
you know, I've been in a hookah bar before, and it's like it's a comical experience for me. But
Fair enough.
Who knows? I don't know. I don't see it anytime soon.
Okay, great. Well, those are all the questions I have today. Appreciate you joining me on your show.
It's really fun to be here, Mark. Yeah, that was fun. That was kind of weird, but Mark is joining us as a co-host in September after Labor Day. Mark's a technology guy, and that was me interviewing him for an interviewing job. He did a great job, though. So Mark's going to be bringing us lots of new technology coverage. So we'll be interviewing technology companies. We are actually starting also a sports betting practice, because there is so much going on in the esports world, in the online betting world. There are companies that are cranking through $50 million a day in revenue, making huge amounts. Legalization for online betting is happening around the world faster than cannabis legalization. And so we're going to start covering that. We have a great Rolodex of people involved in that industry, as it turns out. Oh, there's all kinds of interesting things coming up here.
Yeah. Well, those are the hot areas.
Yeah, he was asking me about socialized smoking. Like, when will we be able to smoke in public? And then
I can't see it happening.
well, actually, so it turns out that it has been happening in California, which is interesting, and of course to be expected that California would be first. But did you know that we have actually legal smoking places where you can go smoke cannabis right now in Toronto? In fact, there's one right around
It's
the corner
called the
from
street.
No, I mean building with a door and windows. They got windows.
Windows.
Got windows. There's one on this right around the corner from my house.
You know, I get the feeling, can you imagine that California was one of the first places that banned smoking?
Yes.
And now we're the first place to bring it back,
Yeah.
as long as it gets you high.
Well,
Doesn't get you high, you can't smoke. Doesn't get you high, smoke all you want.
I was talking to a gentleman in my office earlier about a project coming to market where they've created cigarettes flavored and mixed with hemp that are all organic everything. It's like a smoking revival, which, if you look at all the kids these days sticking them jewels in their yaps, which have no other function than to make you addicted to smoking jewels, it makes you think, you know, the good old cigarette, at least it gave you cancer. None of these things, all they do is get you addicted.
I don't know.
What a ripoff. But, yeah.
They like them.
I find it hard to come up with
these people like these jewel things. They like them. It feels it gives them their nicotine fix.
Well, I know a few people who are like, they smoke them constantly,
I
and
know.
they just whip them out indoors.
Youngsters, right? You're not seeing older people. You're seeing young guys.
Well, I'm seeing some older people who are trying to imitate younger people. You know, there's all those people who would, older people who adopt younger people's habits just to try to convince themselves that they're still of a certain vintage, even though they look ridiculous generally, acting as a young person too much as an old person. It's a real art for an old person to pull off, like, say, killer dance moves.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to do. I mean, I could do it easily, but you can do it easily, but most people just look ridiculous.
Yeah.
We should have a dance segment soon again. That was fun. That one never aired, actually.
Isn't there a thing called, wasn't it called Dance Fever with Denny Terrio?
I thought, wasn't there one called Dance Machine with, who the hell was that? Anyways, yes.
Fred Astaire, I think it was.
So I'm just going to do, just to show you world out there. You world, that's you. I'm in here, you're out there. How many people from the ultra, very respected gold universe are saying buy gold, or investment universe is saying buy? So I'm going to put in quotes, buy gold into Google, and let's see what comes up in the news section of the Google machine. The Google machine. Sure. So here's, of course, at the top of the list, we have buy gold at any level, says Mark Mobius.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's a player. Like, he's a guy that's got a pretty amazing track record.
Yeah. Let's see. McEwen is buying gold. Nothing new there. Let's see. Ditch the dollar, buy gold, says J.P. Morgan. Okay.
J.P. Morgan's saying ditch the dollar, buy gold.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just stick a minus Kitco in there because they'll hijack all our search. Let's see. Piper Jaffray, technician, says, don't buy gold until it reaches this level. What level is that? No, we're not going to jump in and find out because who cares? Anybody who puts a price on it? Let's see. Who else is saying buy gold? Well, this is the thing, is like, you keep your eye on that, and when so many fund managers say buy gold, by golly, it's time to buy gold.
Or maybe to sell it, if everyone's saying buy it.
Well, if the fund managers...
it's early, though. It's early days. And
when the fund manager says buy it, or not the fund manager, but the wealth manager. The fund manager is going to only sell you what's in his portfolio. The time to sell gold is when your taxi driver says to buy gold.
I want to just put up that gold chart again, because I think what everybody's looking at, especially anybody who's been around for a long time.
All right. What are you looking for there,
This,
Ed?
the magic pen. So this is okay, let's take a look here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a big chart of gold here. Big chart of gold. Okay.
Oh, your NDI's off. You know what?
How do you know
Before you do that, we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Let's talk to Chad Canner from Halo Resources, our sponsor and client. Chad Connor joins me now. He's the VP of Revenue at Halo Labs. Chad, welcome.
Thank you.
Chad is the VP of Revenue. I guess it's your job to make money for the company.
In theory.
In theory. And as a way to make money, you have a line of products, some of which we have now tried and we can vouch for the quality of. Tell me about the product line of Halo Labs and what is the whole concept behind them.
Gotcha. So as a concentrate producer, we really just try to fill whatever need we see in the market. Out in front of us right now, we have two of our brands on display, one being Hush, the other being Gilt. Hush being more of a budget-friendly but good quality product line, Gilt being more of a high-end kind of aspirational product line. On the far side, we have a little bit of Hush Live Resin. Live Resin being a full spectrum concentrate, you get a lot more out of it than you would from a standard vape product like distillate, which we do have here. Distillate being kind of the more standard concentrate that's used for vapes across the industry.
Okay.
And then we have a new product that we've just released called Dab Tabs. Dab Tabs are a brand new method of consuming concentrates that have never existed for the industry. They're the first lab certified dosing application for the industry. Each of these contains a 50 milligram dose of any concentrate you're to put into it. Dab Tabs allow for many solutions to the dabbing process that have oftentimes been a detraction for consumers. They're no mess. They allow you to drop them on the ground, which you've never been able to do before. Beyond that, they still retain all the flavor and all the things that people always come to enjoy in their dabbing. But it does solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, you bet. That's quite an elegant solution, really, especially for, the upper crust, as it were. And the unit that you've got there in front of you with the glass top, that is the unit for consuming the dab tab?
So in theory, dab tabs can be consumed any way that you are used to dabbing at home. However, we do have new proprietary hardware. This is the Shatterizer pen, which has been designed to not only vape them holding in here, but also to carry them on the go. And nice little convenient storage jar.
Wow. So you can hit it discreetly anytime you want.
Indeed you can.
Got your little stash on the bottom.
Indeed you can. And then right here is another product that we're really excited about. This is called the DabTab Go. DabTab Go is a 510 thread cart, which can replace really any standard cartridge in the market.
Okay. When you say 510 thread, what do you mean exactly?
So a
by that?
510 thread is merely the threading on the bottom,
Okay.
which is the standard fitting for most vaporizers in the market. This will allow you to drop one in on the go, which kind of facilitates your ability now to carry a much more high-end product in your pocket in the same form factor as these more traditional vapes.
Right. Okay, so among these products, which is the one that consumers are looking for the most?
You know, they're for different consumers. The truth is, Dab Tabs is going to be slightly more of a connoisseur type product, whereas these vapes will kind of be more of a mass market type product. But really, it depends on the user, what they're looking for in the product, and also the price point that they're looking to pay.
Okay, so the resin here, this one, is that something that I can use in that device, or do I need a separate device for that?
You could use that in this device. We wouldn't necessarily recommend it in this, but you could absolutely use it, and in really almost all vapes in the market.
Okay, so what percentage of the California market is vapes as opposed to dried flower?
Actually, vapes and dried flower are becoming very similar markets in the space right now. On the go, what we've seen is a large growth on the ability to use pens on the go, which is kind of eked into the flower market. But they're very similar demand.
Sure. So has the demand for cannabis products generally gone up thanks to legalization, in your opinion?
I would tend to say yes. However, there are issues with the black market and white market, so we're seeing them in different ways. But I do believe that the new recreational market has opened up and made a lot of people feel less scared to enter a dispensary and buy the product and use it. I feel like it's just bringing in more people that were feeling averse before.
Sure. Earlier we were talking about live resin and how that is sort of like the ultimate product in terms of all of the extracts. What is it about live resin that makes it such a hot commodity, and which of these products contain it?
So these two products, the Sauce Pen from Gilt and the Live Resin Hush, as well as these Dab Tabs, which are Gilt branded Dab Tabs. The beauty of live resin is you're able to take the plant and get the full spectrum of the concentrate out. So all the flavor, all the THC, all the CBD, CBN, CBG, all the cannabinoids that you want, you're able to get in a live resin. Whereas when we make distillate, you're distilling down to get a very pure form of THC, where you don't quite get all of the other benefits of the plant. So it's really trying to stay as true to the plant as possible.
Okay. So Halo has this portfolio of branded products for consumers. Do you also have products that you make and sell as a wholesale product to other producers as well?
Yeah. So we do a lot of bulk business. We have several relationships with other companies that are retailers, brands, and we try to facilitate them making their own products, but with the high-end and great quality products that we're able to produce in large volume.
So what about in California, I'm wondering, the application for medical uses of cannabis seems to be something that's growing, even though we still labor under a federal prohibition against cannabis. Do you produce any concentrates at a pharmaceutical grade for the medical industry?
Right now, we're working especially out of Africa to get some CGMP certification for the products going out of there. Right now, however, we work really within state guidelines. We're operating in 3 different states in the U.S. right now, each of which have very different guidelines. So we just try and kind of roll with the punches and do whatever each state is telling us we need to do, while also internally trying to have the best practices possible and really be in advance of what we think may be things to come.
Sure. The explosion in interest in CBDs that I guess you could say has reached kind of an apex with the FDA finally conducting conversations, I guess, as to regulating CBD on a national level. And is that kind of like as far as it's going to go in the United States for the near term, in your view, or is THC by extension, just around the corner as well on a federal level.
I think that the truth is when you talk about cannabis, CBD and THC are each part of cannabis. So while I do feel that CBD inevitably, as there are no health effects that are negative from CBD, no psychoactivity, it's allowing for CBD to bridge the gap. But inevitably, long term, CBD and THC come from the same plant. And I believe that as CBD grows, THC will come alongside.
I can't help but think that creating a line of brands like this, especially when it comes to innovative sort of delivery mechanisms, that is part of the drive for that to protect yourselves from a saturated market?
In a lot of ways, the concentrate space and a lot of the cannabis industry is what we call a Me Too market, which is, we're producing vapes, but so is the guy down the street. And so we try to figure out where we can have differentiation. The sauce pen market is somewhere we're trying to target as a higher end product than most people produce. And really the dab tabs are, trying to attack a space, but completely change it and redefine it.
What do you think of the idea that when the market goes federally deprohibited, that all of the consumer branded goods channels will be owned by the traditional owners of those channels, like the Walmarts and the Amazons and the Whole Foods?
At the end of the day, we are a consumer goods industry, and while I think we would all love to see it progress in, the people who've been here controlling it, it will be hard to fight big business coming in. And I think that we are, as a producer and a player in this industry, we will have to work alongside with bigger players as they come in.
Okay, and last question, which of these is your favorite product?
Well, I love them all.
Okay.
But I would say probably the dab tabs and the sauce pen, being that they are filled with, in theory, the same product. I would probably use dab tabs a little bit more at home until we have these more readily available. But the sauce pen on the go is my favorite go-to.
Okay. Well, Chad, that's a great introduction. We're going to come back to you soon. Thanks for joining me today.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so I was in LA 20 seconds ago, and now I'm back.
I like the looks of the way they're packaged. They just look like they're, and not to say some of the products don't look real, but again, we're talking about the U.S. See, we don't have that over here, do we? Like
not yet, no.
No, like I went to the OCS the other day. Yeah,
Yes, well, we need...
Pretty bland,
the conservative element in the Canadian government.
And these are the liberals, too. So the
The Liberals are more conservative than most people know.
And the conservatives are more liberal.
The Conservatives are more... No, I would not agree with that. I got a text from the Conservative Party saying, can we count on your support in the federal election upcoming? And I'm like, what the fuck? You're taking a poll by text now? So I declined to respond to that. I really don't care which assholes are running the country. They're all doing...
When does it change your life? When does it change your life?
Well, there are a few circumstances under which I could see that happening. I'm not going to say what those are because one of them might actually unfold in this lifetime, and I don't want to have the universe saying, well, you asked for it, you got it. So I'll just think it, and I won't say it.
Don't say it.
Yeah, the dab tabs. I know for a fact that Kieran, the CEO, is working on ways to get dab tabs into Canada. Cannabis. Oh, did I just say that? Was that a Freudian slip? Cannabis. The only extractors in Canada who are licensed to work with volatile compounds, i.e. propane and butane, is Valens Grow. They're the only outfit in all of Canada who is allowed
Why would that be?
Why would that be? Because of the volatile nature of the compounds, the solvents to extract. You don't need to answer that. That's a fake call from Revenue Canada impersonators.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. We are going to be going out to Green Relief in another week. And I don't know, I think I've made no secret of my love for...
their oil?
Yeah, the Sunrise oil. We're actually working on a effort to get that recipe.
Is that sort of what, like, well, there's certain types of olive oil. Is this, would you say, the extra virgin olive oil as it relates to the CBD space?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's kind of like beyond that. This is like the oil extracted from the fine nuts of the penguin testicles.
If it was oil for a car, you'd want to drink it. It was so good.
Yeah, it would be drinkable. That's pretty much it. But you wouldn't want to drink too much because you'd be so calm. You'd just be sitting there like, I'm happy to let the world pass me by. This is very nice. That's what happened to me when I drank too much. Oh, remember we were talking about the juice harp? Just hold on one sec.
The what?
The juice harp. Remember I was telling you about it?
Yeah, well, here I am by myself again.
You're not
Me,
by
myself,
yourself.
and I.
I'm coming back. Look, I was telling you about the juice harp, so I brought one in. This is a juice harp. You know what a juice harp is?
Is that you make a juice out of it?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what markets are going to do for the rest of the week.
I remember when my buddy used to have when we were kids. He used to.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to try playing it?
No.
Sure? I didn't slobber all over it.
No, yet. I'm afraid I might. I'm afraid I might want to have one on me all the time.
Well, this is also known as the Ozark harp, I think is the polite word for it. I don't know why they ever called it a Jews harp. I've never seen a Jewish person playing it.
I think you said juice.
Jews! Jew''. It's a Jews harp. That's what it's called.
Oh, I didn't know that. How do you make the different sounds?
This thing makes it. I don't make them. I'm just blowing in and out across the damn thing.
Was that in the key of E?
I don't know. I don't have what they called perfect pitch to be able to say anything about that.
Do you know what they use to, at the beginning of what instrument they try to get the right pitch or the right
tuning
key?
Fork.
You know what instrument they use?
What? I thought it was called a tuning fork.
It's either, I think it's it might be an oboe. It's not an oboe. It's something like some kind of horn. It's a very unique horn. Maybe a French horn.
French horn.
French horn.
Or a flugelhorn.
No, French horn.
Have you ever played a flugelhorn? You ever been a horn player?
No, but I've been known to be
a flute player.
Horny. Sorry.
Whoa,
sorry. No, I can say that about myself. I'm not.
Sure, absolutely.
I can't sue myself, can I?
You can sue yourself. Yeah. Hashtag you too.
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag I.
Okay.
All right then. So, what would you do with AGG, which I am a shareholder of right now, but I'm going to trade it.
I was going to say put it up on the charts, but I can't get the AGG. It's swelled through the band. It's had a run. I think tomorrow, if it gaps up, take some money off the table and look to reestablish positions a little lower.
Is that what you would do?
Yep.
Is that what I should do?
Yep.
Okay. Look at Trust, just sucking hind tit there.
It can't
get out of its own way. Have you got a screening program that you can punch in and say, show me all charts where the Bollinger Band has been breached to the downside?
Or the upside?
I like the downside.
Okay.
The upside's too complicated.
Let's work on that, yeah.
Yeah, this screening tool will not do that. You can't screen by Bollinger Band. There's one that you can screen by RSI.
RSIs, well, that gets you. That would probably help you find those.
So show me RSI between 20 and 25.
20 or under 25, and also look at the ones over 75
for shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not interested in finding short targets because I got to do too much math in my head and keep track of shit a little more.
No, I hear you.
Trading for me is something I do while I'm doing the rest of my day. It's not like I sit in front of a screen and I'm like, oh my God, it's up another half. I better put it over to sell or I'm going to lose my money.
Oh, you sounded like Elvis just now.
Yeah.
Elvis Pretzel.
Investor?
Elvis Pretzel.
Elvis, hey, you a fan of Elvis Costello?
Yes.
Really?
I think he did a thing where he did a video years and years ago, and I can't remember the name of it, but there was a woman alongside him playing a saxophone. And she was playing this thing like a seasoned
So you're not a fan of Elvis Costello. You're
No, but he was, I thought he was a bit of a genius. Like, I thought he was a guy that, he was different, right?
Yeah. Well, he
Elvis
still is.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around. He's married to the famous Diana Krall.
So we should Google Elvis Costello sings while lady plays the sax. The sack.
Plays the sack.
She plays the sax.
Sax, Edward.
Sax Fifth Avenue.
Hashtags.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, hit the subscribe button, you cheap bastards. Like, come on. Hit the subscribe button. And I'll tell you what, here's something I'm going to tell you, is that we have a new system.
Uh-oh.
This is a new system. And this new system is an algorithmic approach to identifying stocks before they go up. And so, I am going to tell you that subscribers to the newsletter are going to be the recipients of a new system for stocks going up. And it's free. Subscribe.
Can I get on that list? Can I get on that list?
If you subscribe.
Okay.
Nobody gets it unless they subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the newsletter. Get ready to make a fortune.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.